What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages across the world, across the galaxies. This is the Purpose Pod. I'm over here. See, this is terrible. I knew my phone wasn't on silent. But yes, this is another episode of the Purpose Pod, driving you forward with power and faith. I'm your host, Alan Levi Simmons, and today we have a special guest, my boy, my homeboy, my dog, one of my groomsmen, my dog, my road dog, my boy. Well, I was about to go ahead and spit out his government, Mr. Wayne Hood. And, so I'm excited to have this fella on here. This guy has come a long way, man. I'm talking about not just like from rags to riches or nothing like that. I mean, just some stitches maybe. But a long way, man, because I watched this guy hustle, man. I mean, hustle. He always got 3 jobs or 2 jobs at the least. But I'm going to bring him on right now, Mr. Wayne Hood. What up, Wayne?
Thank you, sir, for the
how you doing, bro?
The introduction. Yeah, man. How's everything going?
Man, everything is going. I was supposed to ask you the question. Everything's going good, man.
I'm one step ahead of you, baby.
You one step ahead of me. I'm trying to catch up, baby. I'm trying to catch up. Hey, what we used to say back in the day? Turtles on the rooftop.
Yeah, man.
Turtles on.
Long story, people.
Long time ago, man. Long time ago. But man, I got my boy Wayne Hood. I got to keep stopping myself.
Yeah, I can do it. Cool government, it's fine.
I can use it. I call him Ant. That's why I'm call him Ant. I'm gonna call him Ant Wayne. I'll go in between. But man, so I mean, I remember when I first got out of the military, and I was out hanging out in Virginia, and I met Wayne. And I was like, yo, I don't know. Was it our friends, mutual friends? I think our friends brought us together. Yeah. Or we skipping class.
It was one of your boys.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. One of our homies. No. It was Doc. Doc. Was it? It was Marlon.
It was Marlon.
One of them. Yeah, Marlon had people up in my crib, and
all the time.
And this guy was one of them, man. But when I was at UNC Charlotte, not UNC Charlotte, when I was at Old Dominion University, you were getting your master's degree at that time, right?
When we met,
or you was getting your bachelor, your undergrad.
When we first met, I think I was still getting my. I don't know, man. It's all a big blur. I think I was just finishing up my bachelor's and starting my master's.
Yeah, I think you actually just started your master's, because I got there. I started in 2011ish, 11ish. Yeah,
I started
fall 2011.
So yeah, that was about the time we met.
Yeah, Jamar on here, Turtles on the Rooftop. Just got a shout out, Jamar Atlanta. What up, boy? Crystal, what up? We go back. Pop law boys. Crystal used to be a pop law girl. What up, sis? Hey, look, man, I'm just excited to have you, bro, because, like when I didn't have this podcast when I first met you, we wasn't even thinking about podcasts. And, you met me when I was in school and then I dropped out of school.
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, I got to bring this guy on. He went ahead and got his bachelor's, master's. And then he went to law school. Well, you get your bachelor's, master's, then you went to law school and you accomplished that. So I'm just like, yo, people need to hear about this, because a lot of Black men don't get, respect or get, promoted enough for higher education. It's more so, do you play sports? And that's all you could do. So, but yeah, man. So can you go ahead and just introduce yourself to the people, let them know a little about you, maybe something that you love to do, and then we'll get this interview started.
Well, first and foremost, if your viewers don't already know, Alan Levi Simmons will be graduating this December. So
exactly.
Long road, man.
Long road.
Yeah, just real quick. Wayne Hood, Anthony Wayne Hood II to be exact. From Prince George's County, Maryland. It's I'm lucky to be here, especially with all the stuff that's going on right now. Like, I've been to a certain degree sheltered by being in an area that's predominantly all Black and one of the most affluent all Black areas in the country. So
yeah,
I definitely appreciate. I love my hometown. I don't know if everybody got to go see the documentary, Something in the Water, about PG County, how we produce all the basketball players. Jamar, I know you mad because 757 ain't anyway. But yeah, so born and raised right outside of DC, Prince George's County. Ended up going to DeMatha Catholic High School, which is one of the like top sports schools in the country, year after year after year for the last 40 years or 60 years, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that got my interest. Who knows if I'd be here today? If I was a little bit better, I wouldn't have got cut my freshman year. So, things could have played out a little different, but
yeah.
But yeah, so I ended up going to Johnson C. Smith my freshman year. It's HBCU down in Charlotte.
Yep.
It was a good experience. But I wanted to, where I wanted to go was Old Dominion. They rejected me at first. So, resilience, bounce back, don't let nobody tell you no.
Right.
I did a year at Johnson C. Smith and I went to ODU. And I mean, I loved it, man. I was a criminal justice major. I wanted to be everything from a police officer to a detective to an FBI agent to a police chief. I mean, I didn't have no goal in sight. When I graduated, I tried to get into the police force. I tried over and over and over. But for whatever reason, I mean, I passed the physical test, I passed the written test, but my driving record wasn't what it needed to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd be like that.
You know what you know.
I know what you mean.
So, I mean, and honestly, thankfully, it didn't work out that way. I can't imagine what it would be like to be out in the streets right now as a police officer, especially as a black officer. So I don't necessarily know. There's a reason for things.
Yeah, there is a reason for things.
So after I left there,
while I got you right there, Ant, I wanted to ask you, because since you mentioned like you don't know where you would be right now, especially if you would have went that route and you did become a police officer, like you're still on the right side of law. Did you see I did that? You're still on the right side of law. but just a quick just a shout out to what's going on right now, or just acknowledging what's going on right now. It's just so good to see a brother, on the right side of law, and people can't say, oh, he's a criminal, even though you're stuck inside of this skin of yours, and even sometimes that don't even help. Hey, I'm an attorney, they still treat you like me. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, on that note, and I might delve into this a little bit later, but there's 5% of lawyers across this country are black. Like there's I don't know like how crazy that is to me. Like,
yeah, that is crazy.
I think there's 5% Hispanic, 2% Asian, something like that. But for it to only be 5% of lawyers, like that's something that has to change. The criminal justice system is not going to change overnight. We're still going to be predominantly the people that are getting locked up, getting arrested, going through. Yeah. You told me not to curse on here, so going through stuff. But we need more people on this side of the law. I think there's multiple reasons for that. I think a lot of people are grow up kind of hating this side of the law because what it's done to their family, what it's done to their friends, what it's done to them. And they don't ever look at this as an option. There's another thing is because there's no history of black people being lawyers, like there's no role model. That's everything with movies, and they keep talking about representation and seeing black faces on the TV screen. Yeah. That's the same thing with lawyers. Like there was no other lawyers in my family. I don't have doctors in my family. Like I'm the one to hit that mark. So it's like most people never consider it even being an option. And that's something that we have to work to change. There's, once again, me being in the DC area, it doesn't feel like 5% because there's so many black people here doing the thing in DC, working for the government, working for all these top firms. But around the rest of the country, it's not like that. So yeah, that's crazy. We have to educate. We have to change that to some degree. At least let it change
the narrative.
At least like the 13% or the 12%, whatever it is.
Let us get 13% of that right there. Let's get 13%. We do need more people. And I know that's what, like Amber, she's been talking about like voting, like we've been talking about voting. And, you talk about voting, but then I think voting solves, everything I believe solves part of the issue, like faith, voting, the schools, everything. Right. And I feel that, when it comes to history, like we don't hear or learn about our history as African American people, from the law side. Oh, there were lawyers, there were senators and congressmen. We weren't taught any of that in school, but there were, like black lawyers and black attorneys and congressmen and congresswomen. So like I feel like since we don't get pushed that, but we got pushed the football and the basketball, and and nothing wrong with that, but if you look at it, society dictated the culture of African American culture, so like we were always playing football, basketball, trying to be great at sports, but not really trying to be great at school.
Right.
Yeah. So I feel like that actually hurt me more, because I was like always trying to excel in sports, but school, I was like, I did my thing. I could get through it, but I could see now as an adult, now in college, that like, man, those years were actually meant for me to soak up as much knowledge, as possible. So how do you feel, like your journey, man? So you got your bachelor's degree and then you get your master's. So, for me right now, and I'm struggling with trying to decide if I want to get my master's because school scares me. So you went ahead to get your master's and your law degree. So like, how is that possible? How did you do that?
So I mean, in all honesty, I don't know either.
Yeah. Real talk.
I mean, from the moment I went to DeMatha in high school, like it was a prep school. I mean, it was pretty tough.
Mm-hmm.
I was lost. High school, undergrad, I just kind of went where the wind blew me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't the greatest in school. Like I was capable, but I didn't have the want to. I didn't have the effort. I didn't have the desire.
Yeah.
So I kind of, getting to where I got now. I mean, it's like you said, it's been a journey. Like I got kicked out of ODU for a semester for grades, and then I came back, and then I was on dean's list for 3 semesters in a row and graduated.
Wow.
And then when I couldn't go,
wow.
And then when I couldn't become a police officer. I mean, my ex at the time was in this master's program. I decided to go. I was like, I kind of did a little bit of research and said to myself, hey, there's a bunch of police chiefs that have this degree. Let me apply. Maybe that's a route that I can take. I had a professor that is a black professor who used to be the police chief of Norfolk.
Yeah.
And he was kind of inspirational. Like I don't know too many people at his level of power. So it kind of inspired me to like, hey, maybe I can go that route. Maybe I can do that.
Yeah. So you looked at the roadmap to see like what he did in order to get to where he was right at that point in time, right?
Which I think is extremely important, especially for somebody coming out of high school, coming out of undergrad. Like you kind of want to blaze your own path. You want to go your own way, but you got to look at people that are in the realm of where you want to be and just kind of see what steps they take. If you look at enough people that are in the position that you want to be or close to it, you'll see it'll form a pattern. You'll see something and you can kind of emulate that. And it makes it a lot easier for you. I didn't do it.
He's like, this is good advice, but I didn't do it.
The road was so much easier if I had just stayed on a particular track. But yeah, so I went through the grad school. I got a master's in public administration. The goal was to work in the government, possibly going into public policy. And when I graduated from undergrad, from grad school, I think that was during the recession or something with the job market ended up crashing. And I was applying USA jobs every day. I was applying to jobs, nothing.
I remember you was applying.
And then, I was talking to some people, and I honestly, I never thought I would have became a lawyer. Never. I didn't know what law school was. I didn't know what law school entailed, what being a lawyer actually entailed. But what I did know, and this is honestly the only reason that I even went this path, is because I knew that being a lawyer is a key to open so many doors. And I didn't know which door I was looking to open, but I knew that there was something. I didn't plan on being in sports, like whether it was going into public policy, whether it was public office, whether it was I don't know, being a corporate attorney, whatever. Like, I just knew that having this degree was going to be able to take me to the next level.
Mm.
So I took a chance.
Yeah.
Now,
You took a chance and it worked out.
now, let me tell you, I took a chance and I took the LSAT, which is the test you got to take to get into law school. I took it when I didn't study not 1 minute. And I was like, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. God got me. And I failed. I did terrible. I did so bad. And then it hurt my pride. And then I was like, all right, let me go ahead. Let me go study. Let me go do a little something.
Yeah.
You know, I ended up getting into law school, Catholic University here in DC.
Mm-hmm.
And I started getting into employment law and just kind of how I got to the journey, how I got to the point of my journey that I'm at now. Just networking, which I can't say enough about networking. Like, especially for somebody with me, like me, whose grades were not, you know, I wasn't
A1.
I wasn't top 10 in the class. So like, networking is everything. I don't care what industry you're in. I don't care what. Talk to people. Just start a conversation. That's sometimes the most.
How would you recommend like starting that conversation? Like if you're, you know, if you never had a mom, dad, uncle, aunt, you know, that was in law, how could you start the conversation with your classmates, with your professors? Like who do you who do you talk to?
Depends on what stage you're in. But if you're, I think honestly, you could Google people. Like if you wanted to become a lawyer, then Google some, especially as a Black lawyer, Google some of the biggest firms, Google some firms that are local, and just set up call, just literally reach out, flood them with emails, cold call them, and just see if they'll meet for lunch, see if they'll meet for, like, you don't, and I have this thing where, and some of my friends will laugh at me, or but I don't turn down a phone call. Like, it can be, you never know what that opportunity is going to bring. Like if somebody says that they have something, like there's a whole bunch of spam and there's a whole bunch of stuff that you get on LinkedIn.
People just calling you and everything too.
Yeah, or calling you and just like, this ain't worth the conversation. But what you might get out of that is an idea. You might get, like, it doesn't always have to be beneficial in that very moment. You might be able to come up with something. That person might be able to connect you with somebody else. Like there's so many things that happen from just having a simple conversation. So many people are stuck in their head and not really, I don't know, not really getting out there. They're either, I don't want to call them shy, but
well, Dana called it introvert. She says she's introverted.
I mean, okay, so I feel like I used to be like that. Out of the group of us that lived when we was in Newport News, I feel like I was the quietest out of the group.
The quietest and the wildest.
But I mean, like, things change. Like you have to force yourself. Like, as an introvert, as you begin your journey and trying to network and trying to make connections, you have to force yourself until it becomes comfortable. Or if you take some improv classes, learn how to act. Like, honestly, that's what it is. A lot of it is just showing face. And you know, sometimes you're interested, sometimes you got to pretend like you're interested. It's
just get the conversation going. You're right though, because you never really know what the relationship is going to lead to. So, you know, if it's even with professors, like I've learned this in this phase of my life now, that to network with my professors, like I've had professors share my book with the school and all that stuff. So like, it's just like, once you start to network outside of your own resources, you can network with other people and they can use their resources to get you to where you're trying to go. So that's going to lead me into my next question with you, because, you know, we have the, okay, well, what do I do, you know, while I'm in school? How do I persevere? And you were pretty much like, look, I don't even know how I got here, but I made it. But you made it because you didn't stop. Like, think about this. Like, I dropped out of school and it took me a couple more years to get my bachelor's because, you know, I dropped out, you know, and I came back, you know, so for you kind of, you had that, like, okay, I keep saying UNC Charlotte, but Old Dominion University, you said they put you on probation, or they put you out for a semester, right? Yeah. So they put you out for a semester and you came back. So I wanted to talk to that part right there. And I just thought about that, but I want to talk about that part right there, that you came back, because a lot of us, when we're talking about purpose, a lot of us are in the pursuit of our purpose, but when we fail, we never come back. And that's when we find that our purpose becomes a failure, and we're like, oh, I failed. So what advice would you give someone, just maybe one or two things? Like, what would you tell someone who's at that point where they get kicked out of school, or they they fall below the minimum, and now they're at a loss for what they should do next? Like, what is your advice for them to get back into it?
My advice off top is figure out if that's what you really want to do. School isn't for everybody. School isn't necessary for everybody. It's a great way to have a piece of paper that shows that you have knowledge, but there's plenty of people that are very successful that don't have more than a high school diploma.
Right.
I don't think school is necessary. I think the first thing you do is center yourself. Finding your purpose is hard. Like, I'm not sure if this is my purpose, but I know that this is what I feel like is my purpose. This is what it's taking me to.
Yeah.
Because I was lost in my whole 20s. I had no idea where I was going. I mean, 20s is, I envy those people that are able to come right out of undergrad or even right out of high school and know what they want to do, when they want to, how they want to do it. That's amazing to me.
Yeah.
But the first thing is, you got to figure out if school is right for you. Like, there's no point in going back and spending another $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 just to say that you have a piece of paper. What is it that you want out of life? And then what it took for you to fail. You know
what got you there.
Yeah, you know what low standards you had for yourself that got you there. Whether you were partying, whether you were you didn't feel like going to class, whether you were like me and you were playing pool or ping pong.
Right, pool got me.
You got to figure out if this is what you really want. Like, are you going to put in the work and the effort? Are you going to stay in the library and catch up on all the stuff that you messed up before? Like, it's not easy. It's you start off with. I mean, my GPA I got kicked out, so it was low. It was below 2.0, and for me to go from that to getting 3.5s and stuff, like, it really just took a want to and a desire. Like, I'm not letting this defeat me. I'm not letting this beat me.
Yeah.
Like, school shouldn't be that difficult for me. And then you honestly just have to put your mind to it.
I like that. And
just like with everything else, don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to go to your professors after class. Half the time they'll give you the answer. Half the time they'll like, when you get that one-on-one attention, you do so much better than just sitting in the back of the class or never raising your hand or whatever. And I for a long time.
Yep, me too.
Yeah,
I did that too. And you said, and I love what you're saying, and you said a key thing there about the desire. Like, you have to have the desire. When you're hungry, and like last night, I'm gonna put myself on blast. Last night I was starving, right? My wife went to sleep. She was knocked out, gone. I knew she was gone for the rest of the night, right? And I'm sitting there hungry, but I'm over here, practicing my coding stuff, and the food's all thought out and everything. And I'm like, man, I had no desire to cook, but I was hungry, and when you're talking about desire, I'm thinking about Napoleon Hill, and he's talking about desire in his book. I think about it, when we want success, it's usually we're desiring it, and then there's a point in time when you meet opposition, and that opposition is going to either say, do you still have the desire for it, or are you going to lose your desire and just sleep through the night hungry? Are you going to sleep the rest of your life hungry for success? So like, I went to bed hungry last night, you know what I'm saying? So like that, I just wanted to say that with what you were saying, because a lot of times we lose the desire and we never come back, we never show back up to the fight. So I had a question up here earlier, but go ahead and say what you were going to say just now.
No, go ahead.
Let me see. Mr. Speller says, my son is in the third year of criminal justice, and with current events, not as motivated as before. What suggestions would you have for him? That's a great question.
I would say that, I completely understand the lack of motivation going into that field. Like I said before, I couldn't imagine I have some friends that are, or associates or whatever you want to call them, that are police, black police officers. and I haven't talked to any of them about the situation, but I can't imagine what they're going through. So my advice for him is, once again, to reevaluate. And if he really is, depending on what he wanted to do within criminal justice, this could be even a perfect opportunity. Like, maybe I want to say, if you're going into policing, like, I'm all for it. Like, I'm rooting him. Like, he can change it from the inside, but like at the same time, I'm real skeptical. I'm cynical about everything. So I don't know how much you can change that from the inside. But if he wants to look into other areas of the criminal justice system, especially as a prosecutor or a defense attorney, if you ever go that route, like, there's not enough of us. There's not enough Black faces defending. Like, I spent a year clerking with a judge in Prince George's County, and at a certain point, I had to stop going in the courtroom. Like, I couldn't keep seeing whether they were guilty or not. I mean, everybody's not innocent, but whether they're not, seeing people that look like me getting locked up for decades and these long sentences every day, and seeing families crying in the court, like, I don't know how they do it. I take my hat off to people that work, that defenders, public defenders and prosecutors. But like, if his Antoine, if your son wants to reach out to me, I'm more than happy to talk to him. But I definitely think he just needs to zero in on what part of criminal justice that he wants to be a part of, and and just know that he can affect it positively on the inside. And it doesn't just have to be. Don't let what the current events that are going on right now stop you from your purpose or the goals that you want.
I'm gonna snap to that real quick. He has another question, but I have to say, Gregory McLean says, "Please tell Ant that I'm proud of him." Just wanted to make sure I got that out there before Gregory came looking for me later.
That's my uncle.
Yeah. What up, Unc? What up, Unc? So Mr. Speller has another one. He says, "My son wants to know what other fields can he go into under criminal justice."
It's a great question. So, I mean, other things. So, I mean, if you wanted to go into federal law enforcement, and I'm winging it at this point. I don't have all the answers off the top of my head, and we definitely can set up a call. But trying to go into federal law enforcement and FBI, DTF, not DTF, but FBI. There's a lot of acronyms. There's a lot of acronyms.
I'm sorry. I couldn't hold it in. I was trying.
But yeah, so you can go federal law enforcement. I mean, local, like I said, police, sheriff, either type of attorney. At one point in time, I wanted to be a forensic psychologist, which is one of the guys. Like, I don't know if your son watches Law and Order, but I don't want to. I don't want to use race, but it's an Asian guy on Law and Order SVU. He kind of always like sits down in interviews and does a psychological analysis of the kids that have gone through stuff or whoever the victim is. When I wanted to do something like that, so there's an array of things, and I can't speak on all of them, and I'm going to pretend like I can, but but I mean, criminal justice is a big field.
Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff, and once again, let's set up a call.
He'll set up a call. He said his son's listening, so we got that. Dana said it's traumatizing. I guess that was reference to your experience in court and stuff. Seeing and Fode says seeing people that look like me. ... Pause for a real moment. That is real though, and I didn't want to like leave that, but I wanted to make sure I got to Uncle Gregory and then Mr. Speller. But that is big, man, because you're on that side, like you just said, like you saw, like working at the clerk's office, like you see people that look like you getting long sentences, and I mean that's just scary, because I always put myself in their shoes, because you never know, like we've had experiences, life gives us experiences where we could have been that person that got caught with that, or that was with this, or that did this, we could have been that person, and to see that they're punishing people for stuff, you know, for like 20 to 30 years, you know, so that's just so that, yeah, that could be damaging. So I just wanted to make sure we talked about that real quick.
Yeah. I mean, even on that note, like I was just the judge's clerk, which is like his sidekick. So he didn't really have me handle any of the criminal stuff. I did most work for him with civil, but I was still in there like trying to learn. But I have friends that are prosecutors in Philly, some that are prosecutors in DC, and I've had conversations with them, and it eats them up.
Yeah.
I mean, they got into the position, and once again, I'm not going to sit here and proclaim that everybody is innocent, but it's the criminal justice system is not, and we all know this. It wasn't meant for us. I take that back. It was meant for us.
It was designed for us.
Yeah, and it's sad to see. Like one of the judges that I worked with before, he used to do a lot of. He had a good heart, but like it was scary. Like he was sending some guys like for like the maximum sentence just to. I mean, he came from a good place, I want to say, because he wanted to scare them. And like everybody that gets sentenced, a reasonable lawyer, good lawyer, whatever, is always going to ask for a reconsideration. So doing that, he'll sentence them to a maximum sentence or something long to scare them and make them think about it for a day or weeks or whatever. And then when it comes, the reconsideration hearing comes up, then he'll knock the sentence down and it'll be kind of.
But what if he like passes away during that process where he gave them a very cruel sentence and then like, you know, he just.
I mean, then the next judge handles it.
I'll just play. Yeah, I know. That's a very sticky thing because, you know, like we don't know, like the law is so crooked. And I'm not saying it and like judging America or anything, but the law is crooked. Like you said, the law was made to pretty much for black criminals, for people who did things that were against, like even curfews back in the day, back in like 1960 or even before that, like there were curfews set. So if you were black and out, you're wrong and you could get locked up. And I told Amber, I told my dad, I think we were looking at some guys come off a bus and they were all chained together, you know, so the chain gang. And it's like, man, these people were in their regular clothes. They probably just got pulled off the streets because they was out while black, or some people did do crime or whatever it is. Like, I'm not like, and like you said, like, I want to make sure that people know, like, we're not just saying like all black people are innocent and that black people who commit crimes are innocent. No, we're not saying that. We're just saying that when black people do commit crimes, or not even crimes, but like even what's the low things called, misdemeanors and stuff like that, right? Misdemeanors. Yeah, when we do that, like we get tough punishment. But I don't want to go there. That's not what we're talking about today. And I want to take. Well, Mr. Lanham has something to ask you before we shift into another phase. Mr. Hood. ... So with the current times, are you looking more into laws dealing with our communities? Ooh, good question.
So, I mean, I guess it depends on what you mean by that. So I know that one of the things that I'm starting to look into as I'm going to soon go open up my solo practice is that the black community, I mean, people of color in general, but specifically the black community, we don't really do estate planning the way that we should. And granted, that could be for various reasons, for the fact that we don't have a lot to give away or give when we pass away. But in terms of wills and deeds and there's just getting your affairs in order prior to death, or even while you're alive, just whatever your assets are. That's something that I'm looking into getting into, and it's something that I want to promote. There's a black attorney in Williamsburg or Newport News, Virginia, that I reach out to all the time and talk to about this. The Brian Smalls, just to give him a shout out in case anybody needs some estate planning, some wills done. But he's been talking to me a lot about it recently, and especially with COVID right now, and everybody's thinking about death and what could potentially happen. I mean, the estate planning market is really booming, and it's something that African Americans specifically really need to focus on, really need to put some time and effort into. I've seen it in my own family when somebody's passed away and people are fighting over.
Yep.
I mean, the amount of money is irrelevant, but a small amount of money, just like little stuff that's in the house because they want to sell it or whatever. Like it's petty. But I've seen it, and I know it happens all the time. I know it happens in other net cultures as well, but I can only speak from my perspective. So, but to answer his question, I'm looking into that. I've offered help to some people that were dealing with arrested protesters, but outside of that, I haven't dealt with anything else directly related.
Yeah. That's a good question, Mr. Lanham. Appreciate you. Miss Cobbs, the Art Trap House. Thank you. Proud of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, AJ. Everybody else been shouting out Mr. Hood over here. Nobody shouted out me. So we're about to shift because now we went into the whole like college, we went into law school, we went into after law school. Now I want to talk to you about business, because you're also an entrepreneur. Correct.
Would have never thought I would have been, man.
So you would have never thought you would have been an attorney. Now you're an entrepreneur, and that's exciting on its own. So like VerticL, and I was at when you came to Charlotte with VerticL. I want to talk about that first, and then we'll go into your next one. Okay. So I just wanted to, because people think that, once I get a degree and I get this job, then I have to just go do the traditional thing. You went ahead and you started up VerticL. So can you talk about like your first going into your business? Like, why did you want to go into business with VerticL? And was VerticL initially was out scouting NBA players, correct, agent? So like, yeah.
So I just started off a little bit before that. After law school, I worked for the judge for a year, and then through networking, I ended up meeting this guy, this black guy, Jeff Fennell, based out of New Jersey. He used to work for the MLB Players Association. He had a lot of connects in baseball. There's barely any black people working in the MLB. Yeah. So we had a couple conversations, and he brought me on as an intern. That was supposed to last 8 weeks or 10 weeks, and ended up lasting 8 months. So, but he got me into it. Honestly, working in baseball, we were doing salary arbitrations. I was learning a lot, meeting a lot of people behind the scenes. Yeah. And when it came down to the off season, we were doing a lot of like consulting for MLB agents, and some of the time I was in there with the agent while he was negotiating with the team, and I was just like, I can do this. Like, I feel really confident that I can do what these guys are doing. So after that ended, and I think, was that last February or 2 Februaries ago? Yeah. Ended up meeting up with this guy, Earl Jackson, who's one of my business partner, and his overseas experience. I knew him from my first year at Johnson C. Smith in undergrad, and he was already working with an NBA guy, doing some training, some player managing, and I was taking steps on my own to become an agent. So no clients, no real NBA background, nothing. I had faith in myself that I could make it happen. So there's a lot of money, but I spent the money with the test, and we ended up passing, becoming an NBA agent. Wow. And even though I knew that it was going through our first year, I probably wasn't going to end up signing anybody. I still went ahead and did it because it's one of those things where it's like dress for the job that you want. It's one of those type of things. You have to envision yourself. You have to see yourself in a position before you even make it there. Yeah. And then it's also like, if I'm sitting out here telling, I can't tell prospective clients that I'm about to be an agent, so hold on, sign with me. Like, you got to already be that. You have to be. You got to. And I still remember this. And I was at an IHOP or something a long time ago. The first time I ever heard this phrase, and I've heard it many times since then. But you gotta stay ready, so you don't got to get ready. Right. Like, and I heard
I think I said that. I think that was me.
Man that said that at IHOP one time. But it's so true. Like if I had to become an agent in my head. I had to become an agent and take those steps so I can start holding myself out as an agent and start talking to people and start being in places that I wasn't going to be before. You're forcing yourself into the position.
Right.
So yeah, we started talking, and then we had another partner that we had brought on, and we came up with VerticL. And it was everything. We didn't have no business experience. We were all three winging it, and we try to do too much. I'm telling you, it's a learning process. We offer sports management. We were trying to do merchandise. We were trying to do film and recording tournaments and highlight tapes. We were trying to do events. I mean, it was a lot. It was too much.
Yeah. And I should have had that VerticL shirt right here by me, because it is official. Like I think as far as clothing,
I wish I brought it down.
I got it. It's I can't get up. Amber.
But yeah, so that's VerticL right now is taking a back seat. I mean, things fell apart a little bit over the summer. Which happens. Like you have your first initial boost. Like everybody's excited. Like, we were on the phone every morning at 7:00, regardless if we had something to talk about or not. Every morning, the three of us were on the phone talking.
My wife is so cool.
Love you, Amber.
Hey, Ann said, "Love you, Amber." She said, "Love you too." Yeah,
that's VerticL. It's gonna be resurrected next year.
And the quality is dope. Oh my god,
it's nice. I don't know if they can see the green popping off. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
But yeah, we'll get that back up and running. But
yeah,
things started falling apart. We had some personal issues. We had some clashes. Everybody had their own family stuff going on. So I mean, it happens. Like every company is not going to succeed. Every company is not going to last. And that's what happened. And we fell off. And then me and Earl ended up reconnecting, and we ended up bringing on some new, because the interns we had were VerticL. I mean, I loved them dearly, but it wasn't
working. It wasn't working.
And I'm so thankful for the interns that I have right now, because they do work on their own. They don't need their handheld. They put in the work, they put in the effort, and they, in my opinion, I feel like they see the vision, because nobody's making no money right now, and I want to be clear about that. This is what I think my purpose is. This is where I see my future, but this is really the second, maybe third year going strong. Like we signed some guys. I know I'm skipping around a little bit, but we signed some guys, and we're really trying to make this our inaugural year, our inaugural push. And it's just gonna get better from here. So but yeah, we reconnected late last year. We brought on some interns. We recently brought on some social media interns. We're gonna try to make our social media push within the next month or so. And we have a trainer. We have another guy, Mendel, who's our Mr. Do It All. And we're just working, man. It's just.
So do you feel like y'all? So like with VerticL, you guys started off, you said you guys were trying to take on everything, so do you feel that with Apply Pressure, which is the second business you guys have right now, and Apply Pressure Management, so shout out to AP. I like that shirt right there. That's nice too. So, so you guys, it sounds like you guys are now, organizing yourselves to where you're like, all right, we need social media people. We need this right here. So now you're able to like, spread out tasks, instead of trying to take everything on as the founders and social media strategists. I know how that could be stressful.
I mean, at this point in time, it's still a little bit of everybody doing everything, but everybody has their roles. We are able to delegate some tasks. I think, that was one of the issues. We didn't have a direction before, and now with the more narrowed focus, and I feel like I hear this all the time with this advice, and in my head, I'm always like, but I could do it my way. And I've been doing that for a while, and it don't always work. But you really, when you start a business, like you really need to find a niche. You really need to focus and center in on one specific thing. And then as you grow and you develop, allow yourself to build. But you need to become an expert in that one field, in that one thing, in order for you to really grow. You have to put all your energy into one thing. For us to be trying to do merchandise and sports management and events, like it was I mean, we were running around like like chickens with our head cut off, man.
Right.
Every day it was, and we didn't have a focus. We didn't have agendas. We didn't have a business plan. We didn't like, it was just excitement. It was just, three people
pumped up.
trainer, manager, agent. We just gonna put this thing together. We got a dope logo. Like, we was excited. We didn't follow through though, and that's something I think that kills a lot of startups.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like, even with me, like, I can relate to that because I was the person that wanted to, you know, I mean, I am the person that created like 800 different businesses, and then I'm over here like trying to juggle everything. So like, I understand what you're saying about how you guys, you know, how it's helping you out right now, but still the task is, you know, heavy, you know, and whenever you get that successful business that's running on its own, you're able to look back and be like, yo, like, there was a time where that's when people won't understand your testimony at that point in time, because they'll see you with the, you know, the racks on racks, you know, the millions of dollars, but then they don't see this version of you when you're like, man, I'm putting out more than I'm bringing in. Like, what's up with that? You know, so any word of advice for people? Oh, go ahead and say what you're about to say.
When we started VerticL, I started VerticL on unemployment. I started VerticL after I left the other position with I mean, I living off of whatever, the little bit of money that I had saved up. Like, I had a plan, and not having a job was not going to stop me from my plan.
Right.
I feel like you got to get the ball rolling. That's one of the, like, I've listened to a million self-help audio books and self-help, and read a million self-help books. Like, a lot of what they say is really the same thing. Like, you have to take that step. Like, it's scary. Like, doing something that you've never done before, stepping out there, whether it's a financial investment, whether it's doing something like this. Like, I applaud you. Like, I don't know if it's something that, I don't know if me being on camera often is something I'm comfortable with. I don't know if me talking in front of the camera like that is something I like. And I take my hat off to people that really utilize social media and do blogs and stuff with their selves out there.
Yeah.
I mean, you open yourself up to a lot of ridicule and people, and I don't know what other word to use, but
yeah, I mean, because you put yourself out there, and then if you don't get the response that you're looking for when you put yourself out there, it's like, dang, I should have just stayed where I was. But I think the amazing thing that I've learned about all of this, like about starting businesses, from not like having $0 to starting a business, is like, you learn so much about you. Like when you start like, oh, it's not even about everybody else. When they see me fail, it's not going to affect me because I'm doing this for me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm doing this to prove that to myself that I can do it, even through so I know that I'm going to fail. I know that I'm going to make mistakes. I know that I might hold myself back because I'm not going to get up in the morning like I want to and read a book. And then, you know, I'm not going to do what's necessary. So I understand that those things are going to happen. But if people start laughing because those things are happening, it's not going to affect me because I'm not doing it for them, you know. And like, people really have no value. Like, people, I'm saying, like, people have no value. That came out wrong. So if somebody were to clip this interview right here and heard people have no value, I'd probably get fired from my own show. But what I'm saying is this: people's input or value of what you're doing and your success should not have any weight unless it's affirmation. You know, unless people are affirming you. Every negative thing, you got to be able to be like, look, that don't even apply to me. Like, you laughing at my failure, but I'm still pushing. So yeah, I just want to throw that in there real quick.
Yeah. I mean, it's real though, but you just, like what I was saying is, you have to start. Like, there's no other way around it. Like, it's never going to be the right time. No matter what, financially, whether you have a kid on the way, whether you got family, like girl issues, boy, like whatever it might be, like, it's never going to be a perfect time to start. Just start. And you're not going to, I mean, I think we talked about this a little bit earlier off the phone. Like, unless you come up with some like huge innovative thing that nobody's ever created before, like, there's not going to be instant success. It's going to take time. So why not start now? At least if you're not even going to start doing the thing, at least start educating yourself on the thing. So for future, and I'm just going to speak from my experience, for anybody that's going to be a future attorney or that wants to go into the sports world, like, read up, learn, talk to people. Like, if you can, for the NBA, if you can, or any of the leagues, if you can literally read the collective bargaining agreement, understand the balance between the owners and the players, and see how that dynamic works. If you want to be a lawyer, like reading up on the like basic law concepts, so that when you come into law school, you're ready. And I know this is something I wanted to talk about anyway, but
yeah,
we need more lawyers. I don't know how else to express it.
he said we
need more Black lawyers.
yeah.
And I think that for those that are considering it, like I'm 100% more than happy to talk to you. Like I still have a lot of people I graduated with or people that I've connected with that if there's a specific area of law that you want to go into, like there's a network, there's a Black network of lawyers. We're a small community and we help each other out. Like, please reach out to me or somebody and explore that direction. Like, but there's so many things. Like, so the biggest thing to me going into the legal field is like, I think I touched on this earlier. Like, there's not that many examples or role models. So I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I just knew, like I said, that there was a key to opening doors. So like, there's a lot of things that you need to do to be successful. Like I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but there's like a course that you can take for like a week or two. It might be a whole month before law school starts. And it breaks down how law school operates, how the classes are, what the reading assignments are like all of that stuff, instead of you coming in day one.
Right. Not knowing nothing.
Going off. And like there's other things like just figuring out what type of law you want to do, like doing all of the journal and law review stuff. Like those are things that big law firms look for if that's the goal that you want to take.
Yeah.
Just to let y'all know, which I didn't know, or I would have tried a little bit harder my 1 year. Like I know money isn't everything, but people are coming out of law school at 25, starting off at 190,000 at these big law firms, which to me is crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's the going rate right now.
Right.
For like a top law school student coming out and going to a big firm. Maybe I would have chose that route if I had known at the time. But that's something I didn't know.
Yeah.
There's many little tricks of the trade to help you get through law school. And I want to put together like a handbook or something, but
you should write one. You should write a book, and then I'm over here giving them homework. You should write a book or a little, not even a book, but like a little, a little help guide, a guide.
Like a little handbook or something.
Yeah. Black people on the right side of law.
There's so many little things that I don't want to just generalize and say white people, but
right,
they're 90% of the lawyers. So like their families have, like a lot of the people I went to school with, their parents were lawyers. So they had so many people to look up to and give these little hints, these little tricks. So
yeah,
that's definitely something that is something. So Jamar, for my community, I think I do want to do that or look into doing that with some other of my peers.
Shoot, you can have a whole YouTube. I know you said you don't want to do videos, but I mean, you could have a whole YouTube channel directed towards people who want to pursue law, and you could just kind of like have a talk about certain things and answer questions. I'm always giving people homework, but if you want to, I have a question from Samantha here. She says, how does the skills you've acquired as a lawyer align with the things you have to do as an agent? Good question, Samantha.
That is a good question, Sam. Shout out to Sam. So, I mean, they go hand in hand. So as an agent, you're making deals, you're talking, you're negotiating, and you're reviewing contracts. You're making connections and you're talking to people, trying to get whether it's an off-court deal or on-court. And those are skills that I learned while I was in law school. I took negotiation classes. I did. I took, moot court and trial team, where you're getting in front of people, you're opening yourself up, you're having to defend and go back and forth. I mean, like I said, they go hand in hand. There's a lot of agents that are lawyers, or there's some agents that are lawyers, and it's been a growing trend for players to hire people that are both, that are agents and lawyers. So, which is great for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a growing trend because you kill two birds with one stone. You're able to have that background of contract knowledge. Like that's one thing that I think I would say the skill that besides negotiation is just learning contract language, learning like the standard form, how they're written, what to look for, little things like that. And it helps you. I mean, contracts are written by lawyers and for lawyers, to be honestly. I mean,
Yeah, because I can't understand half the stuff that's written in some contracts.
What they call boilerplate is like the standard language that you put in every contract. But there's so many little things that you can have to twist and turn and make. A lot of it's BS, and I can't curse. A lot of it, in contract, and I mean in a lot of stuff, a lot of statutes, a lot of law. But that's another story. So just being able to interpret that, like we have a word for that. We call it legalese. Like it's not Chinese, not Japanese. It's
legalese. It's
like
legal language.
It's a language. It is, and I honestly feel like what lawyers are translators of law for lay people.
Yeah. Right. And I'm one of them people that need to translate. But before I and thanks Sam for that question. Before I say anything what Fode says about plugging him in, I'm going to say something else. So I had a question for you, and it was what are 3 things you wish you knew when you first graduated high school?
So I guess first, and this is not I think I touched on this earlier. It's not an easy question, but what my purpose was, what my goal was, what did I want to do? Like I knew that I wanted to be in criminal justice, and I don't want to say I encourage people to just do something and stick with it, even if they don't like it, but like to some degree, stick to it. Like find something that you like. Like don't worry about the money, especially for your undergrad degree. Like find something that you like, that you actually care about, and stick to it. Also, I would definitely want to. I wish I had known how much stuff costs. To be honest, like, I wish I knew how much school really like. Okay, like I'm taking out this loan that's not coming out of my pocket right now.
Right.
I really wish if I could redo everything, I would have went to community college my first years. Like I think in my head at the time, I felt like community college was a downgrade or a step down, but no, especially for your first 2 years, like it's all the same stuff.
It's all the same.
You could pay out of pocket instead of going to ODU that was charging God knows how much. And I even started, man, I'm not worried about this. But just honestly, like I didn't have a concept of how much things cost in general. I didn't know what to expect, and in terms of housing, in terms of even groceries, like I was wet behind the ears or whatever the
old folks say. You a little wet behind the ears.
So that's definitely like in the concept of finances, just investing, saving, credit, all of that stuff. I didn't know what any of that really meant.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that I know they've taken out of schools, but it's something that it needs, like at least senior year of high school, if not year. Like people need to be more prepared and understand taxes, understand where their money is going, and how to properly understand a 401k or a Roth IRA or whatever. Like there's so many things that could have helped and set me up for financial success instead of having to struggle the way I did.
Especially like minority students. Like I think about me, my parents taught me like, hey, save your money, but it wasn't like, hey, these are the avenues, that you could save money. And it's not nothing against them because they weren't taught that either. Right. And then you just get a history of people not being able to pass down certain information that will benefit the whole family, after a while. Because if you think about it, if you learn all of that stuff at like 16, 17, and by the time you're 31, like, man, you should have stuff saved up. Your credit score should be good. But yeah, so We do need that. Good point.
Should is the word.
Yeah.
And then I think just in general, like, just be confident in yourself, man. Like, I went through a period of low self-confidence or esteem or whatever it was,
Mhm.
my early 20s, and just be confident in you and whoever you are, whatever makes you you, be confident in that. And I think with social media, I think with this new generation, I mean, from what I see, they seem real comfortable. Like,
Yeah.
they love who they are. And I know, especially with like the LGBTQ
Mhm.
plus movement and um, just the Black Lives movement, like, people are making their voices heard. They're being
Yeah.
who they are and stepping out of some of the stereotypes that they feel like they've been forced to live in.
Mhm.
So yeah, just be you. Just try to exude as much confidence and belief. Like, you'll be the older I get, the more I'm like, I think I'm smart, but but like,
Yeah.
but or I think that I'm accomplished, or I think that these things. But like, sometimes when you hear other people like giving you congratulations or giving you your roses or whatever, like,
Mhm.
it's like, wow, I don't even put myself, like, I appreciate the compliment, but like,
Right.
I don't even put myself on that level. So it's just a matter of like really owning where you are and
Mm.
what you know, and just excelling at it, and just and I don't know how else to put
Yeah.
it.
No, that was good. You know, like owning who you are. That was perfect. That was perfect. I know I had a another. So I want to well, we kind of already touched on some of those stuff right there. The other question about advice for young black people considering law, and we kind of went in like, hey, if you're black, please consider law.
Yeah.
Be on the right side of law. But yeah, can you give? I want you to just touch that one more time. Advice for young black people considering law.
I'm gonna say this for the third time. We need you.
We need you.
We need as many young black attorneys as possible, especially during this time. I honestly feel like this is our time to shine. Like, this is our time um, to start to put those applications in, whether it's a job or law school. Like, I think that a lot of people are opening their eyes. I think law schools know, whether it's intentional or unintentional. I think
Mhm.
they know how small their black population is, and whether it's genuine or whether they're just doing it for the facade of looking like they're all inclusive. This is the
Right.
time to apply. I got lucky, I think, in a sense that our admit at where did I go? Catholic University law school. Our admissions officer was a black woman, and
Mhm.
I think she since she's been there, I think the population of black people has definitely increased, and even still, it's a very small amount.
Mhm.
But we've created a close knit community. So
Mhm.
um, just apply, like, look into it, research it, figure out how you see yourself working in that space. But um, we need as many as possible. Uh,
Yeah.
and just, I think I've said a couple things before, like doing the
Mhm.
pre-law school prep course,
Right.
um, and reaching out to mentors.
Reading.
Definitely, as a first year law student, reach out to the second and third year law students. Every law school that I know of has a BALSA, which is the Black Law Students Association.
Mhm.
Join that. There'll be a great resource for you. Once again, it creates a community. You can reach out for help, because your first year of law school is, I mean, it's hell. Like, there's no
Yeah.
way around that.
Mhm.
It's a shock to the system. Just has as much stuff that you have to read and as much stuff that you have to do, and how you have to cut off if you want to be if you want to have good grades.
Yeah.
You just have to cut off a lot of stuff in your life.
Mhm.
You have to make a lot of sacrifices, but
Mm.
um, if you can get a leg up, if you can reach out to some people and just talk to some people, the black law students that are above you, anybody in admissions, always become friends with admissions.
Mhm.
Whether, I don't care what color they are, become friends with people in admissions.
Yeah.
Pays off for you in the end. Um, And yeah, just that's my basic advice.
That's great advice, my brother. That's great advice. I wanted to swing through these comments, but before I swing through these comments, I just wanted to touch and agree that I do agree, and I love how you mentioned the lady that worked in admissions, it was African American lady, and she kind of like, she's been bringing people in. It's like almost like the Underground Railroad. We got to build underground railroads everywhere. And now is the perfect time, if you want to get into to Congress, or if you want to get into something in your state, city, whatever it is, like get out there and do it, because we need more Black people out there. And it's not a racist thing. It's not even about trying to do that. Everybody knows that. And I don't know why people keep throwing out that like, oh, you Blacks are being racist because you keep putting yourselves against everyone, but we're not. We're trying to fortify ourselves because we need more Black lawyers. We need more Black police officers. We need more Black judges. We need more, we need more Black everything, because, if we're in a system that's not built for us, and there's nobody in power that's meant for us or that means good for us, we will be crushed by that system. So I'm not even gonna go into that, because I go on my little rants about the government, but I'm not gonna do that. So let me go ahead. Fode says, plug your boy. I'd love to take photos in MLB video too. Shameless. Fode is a videographer and photographer, just to let y'all know. Okay. Fode does. Yeah. So I guess Fode, you might want to reach out to him, Fode. He sees this now, so
can't make no promises, but
I can't make no promises. Gregory, your shirt is okay. All right, next one. I'm just playing, Gregory. I got you, bro. I got you. You gotta send me some money first. Janelle says you got this. Oh, we already did some. Didn't we do that? Yeah, we did that one.
Yeah, we did that.
And right, let's go. So I'm reading comments just to let y'all guys know on the audio. We are reading comments.
Go back to that last one.
Which one? Oh yeah. Hold on. So Jamar says, "I'm proud of you guys. I love the growth." Hey Jamar, I'm proud of you, bro. You're a photographer. Hey, y'all go check out Jamar Lanham as well. He's also a photographer. Very dope. Hey, this is about Ant. Y'all leave me alone. I'll just play. He said putting yourself out is so hard. Or did you want to jump on that or what?
Oh, that wasn't the one. But I mean, I feel like I touched on that a little bit.
Yeah, you did.
But it was another one that he.
Oh, right here. Bam. He says, you mentioned that you started your business at a low point. What resources did you use in order to find what you needed to create your awesome entrepreneurship? Comment on the struggle, if any.
What resources did I use?
Mm-hmm. What resources did you use? And if there was a struggle in finding the resources to create your awesome entrepreneurship. So Fode, were you talking about like resources as far as like getting the organization established or the business established? Or are you saying like, what are you saying? We need some more in there. We might have to save that for conversations. So in this is great information, great pod today. Thanks, Jamar. We appreciate you, brother. And he is a photographer. Just to let y'all know that Jamar Lanham is a photographer. If you need a photographer, more Black everything. I'm gonna do the convo alone. Okay, yeah, that would be good. That'd be good. So yeah, man. So Wayne, I'm over here. So used to calling you Ant. I'll just be like Ant. But man, you dropped a lot of wisdom and knowledge today, bro. And I'm just so thankful that you did jump on the Purpose Pod, man. And I think it's so awesome what you're doing. And for Applied Pressure Management, do you have any like announcements like, hey, stay on the lookout? Do you want to do that? Because we touched it a little bit, we didn't dive into Applied Pressure Management.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely stay on the lookout for us. We're going like the only goal is to become the top agency in the business. Rock Nation is up there, Excel, Octagon. Those are guys that have some of the top players in the league, and those are the guys that we feel like we're going to be in that area, that level of competition, competing for some of these top draft picks. Like we have some guys that are coming that we're talking to, or that we have connections with in high school that we hope that we can hold on to. So
yeah,
2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, we should be in a good space.
yeah.
Like I said, we've made our first step this year. We signed 6 guys. All of them are playing overseas, so probably you guys will probably thank you. Probably none of you guys will ever see them play, but every year we intend to get bigger and better. So yeah, I mean, we're not selling the shirts for merch, but we are planning on making a social media push, just highlighting us, highlighting our guys, highlighting the company in about a month or so, give or take. And we'll do little things, something like this, where it's kind of like I don't know if I'm going to be on it, but we'll have people where we're talking to players and getting some insight kind of behind the scenes on what the players think about different issues, whether it's personal or whether it's something that affects everybody, like the Black Lives Matter movement.
Right.
So yeah, it's just we're building, we're moving, and I'm excited. It's scary. It's definitely scary, but it's exciting to just see where we can be and where we will be. And just being able to look back on this stuff and be like, oh, we only had 8 people on staff. Oh, we didn't no money. And then
right.
Yeah. So
come up.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Well, I'm ready for it too. So I'm gonna be right here watching, and whenever that happens, I could jump on. You can jump back on the interview. You know what I'm saying? And we could talk about the millions and millions, that you're making, and that special donation to the Purpose Pod. So yeah, but yeah, man, and like I'm proud of you, bro. Like I'm super excited about what you're doing. People, please go follow Wayne right now. Wayne Hood. Please go follow him on Instagram. Go support him. Let him know that you support him and what he's doing. Please go follow him. If you have questions, please send them his way or send them my way. If you're trying to connect with him, please connect with him on Instagram. Please connect with him on Instagram. If you know anyone going in the NBA or trying to go overseas, anything of that nature, please send them his way. All right. So thanks. I appreciate you, brother. I will holler at you soon, brother.
Thank you for having me.
All right, brother.
All right.
So this has been another episode of the Purpose Pod, driving you forward with power and faith. Wayne Hood came on here, represented, dropped some gems, some diamonds, and some gold on y'all. So please, if you missed it, please go back to the very beginning and watch this whole episode because it was enlightening and it was helpful and inspiring. So please, if you are building your dreams, if you're trying to go somewhere, if you want to be somebody and you want to go somewhere, you better wake up and pay attention. Wake up, world. Yes, this is the Purpose Pod. Have a blessed day. Stay tuned. Next week, we are coming back. The author, Bree Lynette, will be on the Purpose Pod. They told me to love my abuser. That's her book. So we will be back next Tuesday at 6:00 p.m. on the Purpose Pod. Share the video. Share this video. Follow Mr. Wayne Hood and follow the Purpose Pod. Love you guys. Peace.